My name's Danielle. I'm from Queensland, Townsville originally. I've been doing comedy for about 3 years now, nearly. The Comedy Zone is like a bunch of cool, rad, funny people. I hate that answer. Ugh. What did you guys say? The Comedy Zone is like the 5 best new up-and-comers from around Australia, and we do a show together. To be a part of the Comedy Zone this year means that, you know, I get to have that on my resume.
Danielle Walker is one of the zoners this year, obviously, and she's got a really unique voice in comedy. Like, I haven't seen anybody come along in a long time who's got such a unique, fully formed voice and persona that suits her material so well. Like, she's really absurd, and she has a great turn of phrase that really adds to the topic she's talking about.
And I'm originally from Townsville, yucky. But when I was 19, right, I decided I'd leave Townsville and move to London for a few years. And I'm not sure if you guys are all aware of this, but Townsville's like a little bit different to London. And I noticed one of the biggest differences between Townsville and London on my first night in London when I was sitting on the top deck of a double-decker bus. The man in front of me just started smoking crack from a light bulb. And then he turned to me and he said, "Would you like some?" And that's when I noticed the biggest difference between Townsville and London, because in Townsville, people aren't that generous. No. I'm just like, "That's my crack, Dad!" Nice to be here. My first ever gig was in Townsville. It was at a pub outside to like 150 people, and it went really well. It was the best. I don't have any pre-show rituals. Oh, no, sometimes I'll like go over my set if it's a new set, so I might be in the back of the room just being like, yeah. So, the on-stage me and the off-stage me are like pretty similar. If you're like my close friend or family member, but if you're a stranger, then I'm just gonna be real quiet off-stage. My comedy style is a crazy woman, yelling and just talking quite sweetly, and then some drawings or whatever I want to do.
She's a great example of how, you know, even though there's rules, so-called rules, in inverted, I'm doing this, but rules in comedy, you can still break them. Like, one that I think most people have heard is you shouldn't laugh at your own jokes, and yet Danielle has this amazing kind of chuckle that she does that kind of punctuates some of her punchlines, and it totally adds to it instead of takes away from it, because it's not self-indulgent. It's almost like it's part of the cadence of her routine, part of the rhythm.
Comedy influences like Anne Edmonds, like Marcella Kont. It's pretty much it. I don't really watch that much comedy, if I'm honest. My comedy career goal will be to sell at this Civic Theatre in Townsville.
The words she uses are fantastic. Everything comes together beautifully. It's like, it's rare to see in comedy such a fully formed package so early in their career. Like, a lot of people take many years to figure out what they want to do and how they want to communicate it and what persona they want to have, but she's just like nailed it already. So that's the hard work done for Danielle. So you can just chill out, just relax, take cocaine, party. So you can do the rock and roll side now. It's all the hard work's been done.
This is where my theory comes in, right? Because I think the scientists, they have found the Loch Ness Monster, and it was a big sturgeon fish, and so they knew they'd have to do a big cover-up, right? Because nobody would ever come back to Scotland in search of the Loch Ness Monster if it was just going to be a big, stupid, grey-looking fish. So I reckon what they did for the cover-up is they just sort of like painted the bits of him that stick out of the water green, and then just like strapped a plesiosaur head to him like that. But I don't know if you guys have noticed yet, but I'm a little bit creative. And if it was me, I'd like to do a few fancy ones, you know. I'd like to do one of the sturgeon dressed up as a giraffe would be a good one. People would just be like, what's he doing swimming in the loch? How'd he get here from Africa? Probably just stuff like that, they'd say.
I could watch Danielle for hours. I think she's hilarious, and I think she's going to do very, very well in the future, and I think she's doing very, very well now. It's it's one of those double-edged things where she's really lucky to have Comedy Zone, but Comedy Zone's really lucky to have her as well.
So the Comedy Zone is on from the 30th of March to the 23rd of April at 8:15 every night, except Sundays it's at 7:15, and there's no show on Wednesdays.